Butterscotch Shenanigans.
Hey everybody, this is Sam Coster with Butterscotch Shenanigans, and today I'm gonna just show you guys how to build a level. It's one of the levels from Levelhead's campaign, but the editor is also something you'll be able to make full use of. In fact, Levelhead's a game all about building levels and sharing them with other people. So I'm just getting in here. There's a lot of theories, a lot of grand theories about how game level design is supposed to work. But I kind of like just getting in there and mucking around with a vague idea of what's going on. That's okay. Everyone's got their own way. And I thought, I want this level to just be something about these blocks. In particular, these push blocks, one with the little TLX on it there. I'm not super sure what I want to do with them, but I think I want to just stack them. This is really just a level about stacking blocks. Now, how can I make that fun? And how can I make that challenging, but not too challenging? Well, we're going to start by throwing together a few little pieces here, including a door attached to this pressure plate. And I want this box to just start running away from the player as soon as the level starts. Let's try this out. Perfect. I'm going to get in here, and that was really easy. That wasn't much of a challenge, so let's go ahead and maybe throw a spike. Now, Bernie whirlers. These are fantastic. Little tiny flamethrower that just whips around in a circle. Happy little fireballs. Put them all over your level if you want. And I find it's always nice to just hit that play button. If you can't figure out exactly what to do next, just hit play. The level will tell you. You just gotta keep on going. I'm gonna raise the roof here, so to speak. Very excited about it. I like to use that backdrop tile to kind of, darken the area and make you feel like you're in a cave. As nice as a beautiful vista is back there, sometimes you just want things a little simple and feel like you're in a dark cave full of spikes and fireballs. It's very warming to the soul. I don't really know exactly what I'm going to put in this pit yet. Maybe a spring? Actually, let's put spikes in there. Just fill it right up. Perfect. This is my level. I can do whatever I want with it. It's mine. But at the end of the day, I do want players to have a really good time. Come on here, so I'm going to put some secrets in there. Yeah. Secrets. Let me test it out. Can I even do this? Did I make this too hard? It's really important. You got to know just how hard your level is. You got to know what kind of experience you're trying to offer to the player. And make sure you can do that. Seems about right, even though I died a billion times. This might be a challenging jump, but at this point, for most players, they will have played through at least 50 campaign levels, so, I think they could probably deal with it. And the important thing is, we are here to challenge players. Make them have a really good time. Make them impressed with themselves. And let them know that there's probably going to be a package up there. But how do they reach it? They're going to wonder as soon as they start. I'm going to stack all these boxes up. I got to count them. I don't even know how many I need. I didn't plan that far. Looks like about 6 or 7. Just counting them out. Just checking. So I kind of know how I want the level to end, which is by stacking all these boxes up. I don't really know much more than that, and that's just fine. Sometimes, if that's the case, I either just hit the play button or just start making the shape of a room. Or sometimes just lay down a switch of some sort. In this case, a gem switch. This one works by counting the number of gems you've collected so far, and if you hit a certain number, it'll power a door or something like that. In this case, I want the player to have to collect a few gems, but it's going to be maybe a little more tricky than they're used to. See, most things in Levelhead can be attached to switches. This is a clock switch. I'll go ahead and attach all these coins to these switches. Make it so that on a rhythmic timer, they're going to turn off and on. And I can set just how long I want them on and just how long I want them off for. And just to throw a little wrench in there, I'm going to also attach some spikes to that. Because why not? It's my level. I'll do whatever I want. Challenging. Word to the wise, these little timing puzzles are very difficult for people. So it's generally best to only have them in small bursts. Otherwise, players will get tired and just quit your level. You don't want that. You want to play through the whole thing. Just kind of tuning things up a little bit. I need to count exactly how many gems I had to make sure that that gem switch actually works properly. And I'm doing a little test. Again, I want the player to be stacking boxes for a lot of the puzzling in this particular level, so just tested that. I'm going to play through the whole thing, just kind of see how it feels. Oh, I can't reach that. I'm just going to put it over there. Boom, easy. It's really important that you make the easy things easy in life, because those things are just hard. And if those are in the way, well, you can't come in here and build happy levels. Here we go. Working as intended. Now, every so often I'll just pause, zoom out, just kind of take a look at things. Where do I want the player to go from here? How do I want them to feel? Not super sure. In this case, I messed up this switch at some point. Well, I'll just fix it. Takes 2 seconds. And I can use this cheese mode to start wherever I want, put whatever I want on my back, maybe even turn on some switches and things. Makes editing in places much further away from the start of a level a total breeze, which is nice. It's happy little levels. Just putting spikes wherever we want. But I do want it to be the case, it's very hard to clear the spike trap. So at the end of it, I'm going to tie that lock switch there to it, and make it so that if the player finishes it successfully, they can turn it all off. Almost nothing feels better than, turning off a room of spikes that was just trying to stab you a second ago. You say, "Ha-ha, spikes. You can't have me today." Maybe on my next playthrough, though. There we go. Now they're off permanently. Feels awesome as a player. Like the level's changed because you ran through it. And that change is fun. That's something that all of us really seek in life. We want to make an impact. So let your players make an impact. And it's really important to sometimes, just line out a space. Maybe you don't even know what's going to go in it. That's fine. Totally fine. It's your level. You can just kind of feel it out as you go. I tend to recommend people not using too many objects in their levels of different types, just because they might get a little confused. Players might get a little confused. It's easier to paint with fewer colors, if you will. You don't want to end up with a rainbow that mainly just looks like brown. Or like a gray horribleness, because every color blended together just turned into nothing. In this case, I decided, I want this to feel like an Indiana Jones moment, just for this little section. In order to get this box, you can take it, but when you take it, all of those jack drops are going to turn on, and, well, they're going to try to drop spikes on your head. See how fun that is for you. And it actually should be fun. That's the whole point. Gonna hide some secrets in there. I love secrets. Players feel so good when they find them, and well, it's fun for me to put them in there too. It's like I get to have a little conversation with a player, like, "Oh, here's a secret," and they get to say, "I saw you did that there." And now I get to test out just how fast is this saw. Can I run away from it? I don't even know. Yes, okay. So it turns out 600 speed's the way to go. And at first I tie this to a proximity switch to make it so that the saw starts chasing the player when the player appears, but it's getting kind of tricky just to manage this thing. I'm thinking maybe this is too complex. Maybe all I really need to do is just simplify. Instead of making this all tied together, I'm just gonna turn this off. Levelhead has a really robust switch system, so you can do some pretty incredible things, but sometimes it's just better to have a saw running back and forth across the cable. Now these jack drops aren't quite behaving the way I want them to, so I'm gonna move them up a little higher. I want them to be scary for the player, but not too frustrating. Again, you want to ride that line as a designer. You want to give people challenge, make them feel awesome when they're done. Don't make them feel like you're just kind of kicking them when they're down. That's no fun for anyone. Sometimes we as a designer make mistakes, I miscounted how many gems were required to open that gem switch. Just fix it. No problem. No problem at all. And checkpoints are really important too, because you want players to not have to play through the same thing over and over and over again, unless it's of a particular challenge that you really want. So, when you're making these levels, always keep in mind where people are probably going to get stuck, and try to preempt it by giving them a checkpoint. Unless you just really want to grief them, make them have a really hard time. But I like giving players moments of intense sprinting activity and then a second to relax. So checkpoints are really part of my toolkit. Now here I'm thinking, maybe I need to figure out a little bit more about how this next section's going to go. I think I know how this end is going to work. Now I'm going to fill this out a little bit, maybe put the package in there, maybe over there, maybe back there. I don't know. I'm figuring it out. It's okay. It's my level. I'll do whatever I want. Making stuff is fun. That's the whole point. In this case, I'd say, I don't know what I'm going to do next, but it's going to go in this box. Because constraints are good. As much as everyone hates them, they're really the seat of a lot of creativity in life. So I'm just going to box in this room, and now I'm thinking, what would be fun to do with this? I think I want to use this quantum electro dongle power-up, which lets GR18 warp around. The only problem is you can warp through walls that are 4 tiles wide, which is a lot. So they really got to box them in, make sure you know exactly where the player's going to go, because otherwise they'll just escape. It's very fun to play levels with that on them, because you can always spot people who aren't too experienced with level building with quantum electro dongle just yet, because they tend to leave accidental gaps all over the place, and you can just kind of sneak out of the level. It's very fun. It's a little conversation between you and the player. Now I know what I need, which is these push blocks. Gotta have these push blocks in here, and maybe a robot shark with a key in it. Yes. Sounds fun. You can put little items inside of creatures to make sure that when the creature expires, then the item appears. And I'm thinking, we need some combat. We haven't had any of that yet. We've just been avoiding spikes and things, so let's get a little aggressive. Get that quantum electro dongle in there. Moving things around, trying to figure this out. I think no enemies here. We're going to have a big enemy fight upstairs with that robot shark. Let's do one last sort of ramp up of all this spiky, sharp action that we've done down below. Let's merge these two ideas together of the drop jacks, which drop those spikes in your head, and the spike traps, which shove spikes in your bottom. Put them on a little timer. This looks good. Actually, probably not. That's okay. We mess up all the time. It's not a big deal. You just get in there, patch it up, try something else. Maybe move some blocks around, try something new. Maybe that's not good either. In this case, it definitely isn't. Tighten it up a little bit. I'm thinking maybe this checkpoint needs to be up there because I'm dying a lot. Well, probably doesn't need to be up there, maybe down there. And again, just kind of moving stuff around. We can do whatever we want. We just want to make sure the player's repeating the things we want them to repeat, not annoying things, like picking up a power-up repeatedly every single time they die. That's not fun. Give them a checkpoint. Again, the ceiling just seems too low again. I have a hard time figuring out exactly what to do with this chunk of the level. Just going to die repeatedly a few times, just kind of feeling it out. Again, just raising it one more time. I think this is the 6th time I've raised the ceiling. And finally decide, maybe we need something else. Try some of these crumblers. Make them big. Now it's a double timing game. And this level has been, up to this point now, all about timing. Timing and push blocks, so it fits in nicely with the theme. And that's also why I chose that pop jaw enemy, the shark. Because it requires timing in order to kill. It's what this level's all about. I didn't know that when I started, but now I do. So I'm kind of retrofitting everything. And at this point, the player's gone through a lot, so I just kind of want them to feel like they're a success. So instead of challenging them with this next little tiny room, I'm gonna make it much easier to get in there. You can just warp in, steal some coins, maybe fight a tiny thing. That'll be that. But then that makes me think maybe this final stretch should be ridiculous. Maybe it should be the case you have to fight a giant vac rat and a giant pop jaw. Let's just check this box count. Make sure I got how many I need. And I want the player to have to jump to get that power up and then barely be able to get up on top of the ledge there. To feel like almost maybe they wouldn't be able to make it. I feel like I figured out kind of where the end is going to be. Sometimes you don't know where the end is until you're almost there. And then there it is. I'm also using the cheesing system to allow me to drop into the level at various points, change my own power up, maybe put a package on my back that I don't even have. Build this little section out. I want the player to feel, a sense of ease coming into this last little bit. They've been through a lot of, I've stabbed them many times if you have many different spike traps and things. So instead of keeping that going all the way through the end, I'm going to let them have a leisurely sort of a break here. Make it feel really good that they actually got to the end of the level. And I'm testing the whole thing. Let's see if this is going to go. I notice, maybe this isn't quite, it's not quite feeling the way it should, and I think this package count's getting a little weird. I'm going to move one of these, going to move some of these pressure switches around and reorient things. Again, you can do this whenever you want, you can change everything. It's your level. Do whatever you want. No one's in charge here. We're just having a good time, trying to make people have a good time. Alright. Got a package. Checking it out. And again, sometimes if I don't quite know what to do, I'll just play through what I got. See what ideas come up naturally. Make sure the whole thing's working and make sure the difficulty's exactly where I want it. You know, I want people struggling, but only in certain places. I'm here to push people and make them realize that they're much more than they think they are. Sometimes that means I'm overdone it. You know, sometimes you got to start really too far and then reel it back, like when you put a pop jaw and a giant vac rat in the same area, then realize that maybe after all this stuff, it's just a little crude. I think at this point I know what I want to call this one. Yes. No. Yes. Okay. Let's do throw rage. Yeah. It seems like it's about accurate. Change the music around a little bit. Something nice. And I'm going to give it a go. You can learn more about Levelhead by visiting these fine websites. Thanks for watching.